Hi viewers, in the last video, hope you would have watched our last video we have made for boron, and we have seen the family members of the boron, that is the 13th group element, and members of the family, how to remember with the small gimmicks such that we will be comparing with our family members: aluminum to our mother, gallium to our smart father, indium to our grandma, and thallium to our parents. Then as ID card is important to us, the elements atomic number is very important to the essential to the elements. As it is based on the atomic number, electronic configurations will be there. Based on the electronic configurations, that decides the chemical properties of an element. So atomic numbers are very essential to the element. To remember the electronic that is atomic number of an element, we made a small easiest method to remember that by adding plus 8 electrons, plus 8 electrons, then plus 18, plus 18, then plus 32, plus 32. 2 times 8, 2 times 18, 2 times 32. In that order, if you are adding with the previous last element atomic number, we will be getting the required atomic number of an element. Understood? If it is helium, atomic number, some of the basic atomic number we should remember. Helium atomic number is 2. With that, if we add 8 electrons, we will be achieving atomic number of neon 10. Okay, in that way we can remember the atomic number of an elements. Then some of the, that is, we have seen inert pair effect. Only the last electron will take part in the reaction. NS2, the 2 electrons will not take part in the reaction. So that is because of inert pair effect. Because of that, oxidation property, oxidation state of the element, higher elements will be stable in the higher oxidation state, lower elements will be stable in the lower oxidation state. In that way also we have compared and read. Then last one, boron, that is ore of boron. Ore of boron is borax and kernite and the boric acid, H3BO3, boric acid. These are all the ores of boron, and these will be chemical properties of these ores we have seen. And some of the exception case, boron is a electron deficient element, so the compounds will be electron deficient compound. For that we have seen the examples such as diborane, B2H6. It may be similaring as C2H6 ethane, but C carbon is carbon valence electron is 4, and here boron valence electron is 3, so it will be having shortage of electron, 2 shortage of electrons. So it is electron deficient compound. And how it made a compound with the other element, it applies special cases. As a special case, in a it bonded with the other molecule, that is banana bond, or banana bond it made, or a tough bond, TAU, tau bond. Okay, banana bond or a tau shape, tau, TAU, tau bond it made. It is 3 centered 2 electrons between two boron and 1 hydrogen. Only 2 electrons are shared. Okay, one is vacant electron of a boron, and the angle difference will be there. Angle will not be same in the diborane in all the hydrogen, and it will be having terminal hydrogen will be having different angle, and the bridge hydrogen will be having different angle. In that way, as a special case, it will be forming compound with the other molecules. And one more example, boron trifluoride, also electron deficient compound. Now we'll be seeing about aluminium, metal aluminium, and some of the exceptional case in the boron family. Then we'll conclude with the alum, that is aluminium chloride, compound of aluminium chloride, aluminium, and then conclude with the alum. Now we'll see about aluminium. Aluminium is the metal we know. It is the third most abundant element in the earth crust, contributing 8.5% by the mass. In the sense, if we get about 100 kilograms, we can get about 8 kilograms of aluminium. Important mineral of aluminium is bauxite, cryolite, and mica. Then properties of aluminium: it is a bright color, silvery white metal. It has high tensile property. Tensile in the sense elasticity. And it can conduct electricity twice that of copper. Then aluminium alloys, it can make alloys with the copper, magnesium, manganese, silicon, tin, and zinc. Aluminium is silvery white metal, lightweight metal. Because it is lightweight metal, it can be used as a aeroplane parts. Then uses of aluminium: huge variety of products including cans. Nowadays the beverage packed or biscuit packs are made by the aluminium foils. Then cans, drinkings, no, that cool drinks cans are made by aluminium cans. And foil to pack the food material, foils are used. Kitchen utensils, of course we are using utensils, of course. In heat it will be liberating gas that is not good for health, but even then we are in practice to make food in the kitchen utensils, Then window frames. Nowadays instead of wood we are using window frames made by aluminium. Then beer kegs. Then aeroplane parts are made. As it is the lighter weight, it is possible. Then we'll see about the oxides of boron family. Boron is the non-metal first element of this group. Then next aluminium, gallium, indium, and thallium. Here non-metal, as it is a non-metal, non-metals will be oxides will be acidic. Non-metal oxides will be acidic in the sense it will react with acid only. It will never react with the alkalis. So that is boron react with nitric acid, readily react and forms hydroboric acid, that is boric acid. But with HCl it reacts at the higher temperature only and forms boric acid. Understood? But it never react with alkali, sodium hydroxide. So it is not, it is a it is acidic. Non-metals are acidic, so it is not a basic one. So boron is acidic oxide, but aluminum, gallium are amphoteric. We can include indium also amphoteric, little bit amphoteric. That means it can be react with both acid and base. With acid it forms chloride, and base it forms hydroxides. So these three we can say as amphoteric. Thallium is acidic. So in that we can understand basic property decreases down the group, acidic property increases down the group, isn't it? Basic property increases down the group. In the sense we can say basic property increases down the group, we can say that is metallic character increases down the group, or non-metallic character decreases. Non-metallic character decreases down the group, or metallic character increases down the group. Everything, all the sentences have the same meaning. Because why this is so in the sense? Because boron is the smallest element. It has only 2 orbits around this. This nucleus force will be at the last valence electron. So What is ionization? Down the group, electronegativity group increases and electronegativity decreases down the group. That means, what is electronegativity? Attracting a pair of electron towards an atom. Okay, attracting a pair of electron towards an atom. As the boron is the smallest element, the nucleus force will be much more in the outermost electron. So it helps to attract a pair of electron from other elements. But in case of thallium, it is not possible as it is a bigger element. So a bigger element, nucleus force will be less in the last electron, valence electron, and it will not help, it will not support to attract a pair of electron from the outer element, neighboring element. So that is electronegativity decreasing now down the group. As the atomic radius increases down the group, electronegativity decreasing down the group. As electronegativity decreasing down the group, metallic character increasing down the group. Understood so far? So we can say, in other words, acidic character decreasing down the group, basicity or character, basic character increases down the group. What is metallic character? In the sense, it readily leaves out electron and changes into cation. So that is only metallic character increases down the group. Understood? Then in that same way, we will be saying about the ionization energy. We will see in the next one. Okay, so we have seen in this boron, everything is a trivalent oxide, M2O3, and boron is acidic. It will react only with acid, that too with the nitric acid or oxy acids. With HCl will be reacting at the higher temperature, and these three are amphoteric. This is basic acid. For that we will be seeing aluminum react with HCl and forms aluminum chloride. With the sodium hydroxide, it forms aluminum hydroxide. Then why are metal oxides are basic? Means we can say they react with water, forms alkali, sodium hydroxide forms. So those are all basic. For that I said the reason nucleus force will not be at the last electron, so it readily leaves out and basicity increases. Okay, then what about this? The sum of the variations will be there in the 13th group. I said no. Here down the group, atomic and introduction of atomic orbit, down the group atomic radius increases to the element, but it has some exceptions. Atomic radius of boron, these are all atomic radius in picometer. For boron it is 80, for aluminum 143, gallium 125, 167 and 170. Here actually it should be increased only. Aluminum should be lesser than this gallium, but here aluminum is atomic radius of aluminum is much more than the gallium, because it is called a lanthanide contraction. Introduction of d orbital, I said in the beginning itself, based on the atomic number, electronic configuration will be there. Based on the electronic configuration, reaction of the element will be there. Here introduction of d orbit and completely filled d orbit, and f orbit, it is called a inert pair effect. These two electrons will not take part in that. Otherwise we know we have come across. Because of that, that oxidation state varies. +3 higher elements are stable in the higher oxidation state, lower elements stable in the lower oxidation state. That is because of inert pair effect. Here this contraction due to this d orbit and f orbit, this is shrinking the electron. The orbit, atomic orbit is shrinking in its size. So this is smaller than the aluminum. Aluminum at gallium atomic radius is smaller than the aluminum. For example, we can remember, if it is in the straight wire line, if we are keeping some of the cloths on that, that tends to bend down towards the down because of the heavier load on that. Otherwise the length will be little bit compared with this with unloaded it will be straight, the length of that will be little bit higher one, increased one. In that same way the orbit size will be quite naturally normal size, but when the completely filled orbit, no, D10 and F14 completely filled orbit, that tends to shrink in its size. Okay, shrinks in the orbit size. So gallium, size of an gallium is smaller than the aluminium. That question only will be asked in that. In that same way, ionization energy of the boron is much more than the other elements because size of boron is smaller, only 2 orbits will be there, nucleus force will be easily on the outermost electron, second electron, okay, second atomic orbit, so it control over the second atomic orbit also. But in case of thallium it cannot able to control over the last electron, valence electron. Okay, so when I tend to take one electron, I should spend some energy to take an electron, that is about 800 kilojoules per mole. Then if I tend to take another one more electron, second electron, it is 2429 kilojoules per mole. In that same way, for third electron, if we tend to remove, that is about 3659. So in this part they will be asking about this lanthanide contraction, why gallium, size of gallium is smaller than atomic size of gallium, smaller than aluminium. Those will be asked and answer will be lanthanide contraction. And in this ionization energy they will be asking questioning because of the size of small size of electron, small size of element boron, nuclear force over the last valence electron. In case of thallium it is not possible, so ionization energy is lesser down the group, understood. And for oxidation state, if they ask, this is big introduction of d orbit and f orbit, poor shielding effect down the group, oxidation down the group, oxidation state decreasing, that means smaller oxidation state, lower oxidation state are stable in the lower element, higher oxidation state are stable in the higher elements. Then aluminium chloride, we will see about compound of aluminium chloride, AlCl3 is aluminium. In this it is tetrahedral geometry, AlCl3. When it dimerizes, that means AlCl3 only 3 sides of chlorine is attached. It dimerizes in the sense combined with the similar molecule is dimerization, so it forms 2Al and 6Cl. So it is AlCl4. All 4 sides it is surrounded by aluminium. Aluminium is surrounded by chlorine atoms in all 4 sides, that is tetrahedral geometry. Then when it is, this is sp3 hybridization, then with this water molecule, 6 water molecules it forms and it is sp3d2 hybridization, understood. Then aluminum chloride, how to prepare aluminum chloride? Reaction of aluminum with HCl, we can get aluminum chloride. With aluminum hydroxide react with HCl also aluminum chloride we get. Then McAfee process, alumina, it is alumina reacts with carbon on passing current of chlorine, we get aluminum chloride. On industrial scale we can get aluminum with chlorine at 1000 Kelvin, we can get aluminum chloride. Properties of aluminum chloride: aluminum chloride is a colorless, hygroscopic in the sense Anhydrous in the sense without water. Without water, aluminum chloride will be colorless. Hygroscopic, it absorbs water from the surrounding, from the moisture. Okay, then aqueous solution of aluminum chloride is acidic in nature. If you take aluminum chloride in a test tube, aluminum chloride solution in a test tube, we can see fumes, white fumes of hydrogen, white fumes white fumes out of that, because hydrogen chloride completely dissolves in the aluminum, completely dissolves in the moisture. So escaping of hydrogen we can see as a white fumes. Okay, it will be asking as a question, how do we get white fumes of hydrogen chloride in the aluminum chloride? Means completely dissolved hydrogen chloride react with the moisture in the atmosphere, exhibit white fumes. Okay, that is the answer. Then ammonium hydroxide react with the aluminum chloride, we get aluminum hydroxide. Then excess of sodium hydroxide, we can get metal aluminate, sodium aluminate. It is metal aluminate. Then uses of aluminum chloride, anhydrous aluminum chloride used as a catalyst in the Friedel-Crafts reaction. Then in the manufacturing of petrol by cracking the mineral oils. In the steps we get petrol, it is useful. Aluminum chloride is useful. Then as a catalyst in the manufacturing of dyes, trucks and perfumes. Also it is used as the catalyst. Then we study about alums. Alums, the sense double salts is named as alums. That is monovalent metal ion and trivalent metal ion. Monovalent metal ion is mentioned by M dash. Trivalent metal ion denoted by M double dash. Okay, then examples of alums are potash alum, sodium alum and ammonium alum, chrome alum. Here preparations of potash alum, that is alunite. How to prepare? It is naturally occurring, and when alum stone is treated with excess of sulfuric acid, we can get separated the potassium sulfate, aluminum sulfate and water molecule separated. Then it is reversible process. When it is recrystallization, it is purified by recrystallization. Okay, it is. Then properties of potash alum. On certain it is aluminum sulfate, and the calculated quantity of potassium sulfate and aluminum sulfate, we can recrystallize the potash alum. Then properties of potash alum, it is crystalline, soluble in water. When we say it is soluble in water, it is insoluble in alcohol. Then hydrolysis of aluminum sulfate, it melts at 365 Kelvin on heating. Above 475 Kelvin on heating, it's separated out as a anhydrous. When it becomes anhydrous, that removes water, it becomes a swollen mass, that is called a burnt alum. We can ask the question, what is burnt alum? On heating of potash alum about 500 degree Kelvin, we can that becomes anhydrous alum. Potash alum forms, that is in the swollen mass. Okay, without water molecule, the water molecule is separated out, that becomes a swollen mass, that is known as a burnt alum. It can be asked with the equation you should write. Then this potash alum on heating of red hot at high temperature, it can be separated as potassium sulfate, alumina and SO3. Then uses of potash alum with the aluminum hydroxide. Potash alum forms aluminum hydroxide when it reacted with the ammonium hydroxide. Then uses of potash alum, uses of alum in purification of water. Nowadays only RO water is available in every doorstep, but previously about 10 years back, we can use the alum to purify water for the household use. It is not a potable water, we cannot drink that. For household purpose, we can purify water by dropping a pellets of alum. The heavier particles, impure particles will be settled down. About 30 to 50 liters, 1 gallon of water can be purified by 1 pellet of alum, and it is used for waterproofing textiles. To manufacture waterproofing textiles, alum can be used. Then dyeing, paper and leather tanning industries. In coloring, dyeing means coloring, also it is used. Paper and leather tanning, tanning in the sense smoothening, softening the leather and paper industries, alum is used. And it can be employed in to arrest bleeding. It can be said as styptic agent, or styptic agent. Actually it is antiseptic agent. Antiseptic in the sense, as we are using nowadays Dettol, instead of that we can apply alum on the wound, cut wound. We can use the we can just like a soap piece we can apply on that. So it will be arresting, it will be sealing the injured blood vessel, so it arrests the bleeding. Aftershave lotion, instead of aftershave lotion, about 10 years back men were using for aftershave. Alum can be used as a aftershave lotion. Till this we stop the boron family. We have of course completed the boron family, and we will be seeing the next video. We will see about the important key points to remember about the boron family. Till then, bye.